take this question. Try solving it. It probably seems simple, elementary, all right? But if you change that adding a negative to a minus in your head to a subtracting, I think that you're wrong. Hey everyone, you might remember me from my educational animation 2 years ago where I explained how positive and negative numbers add and subtract. However, since then, I've gotten better at animating, gotten a better microphone, and a better conceptual grasp of what's actually going on here. So I present to you my lesson for what is really happening when you add, subtract, or multiply negative numbers. These are your positive numbers. They exist on a regular number line from 0 to infinity, and they have numbers that you know, like 1, 2, and 3. But on the other end of that same number line, there's another one that counts the other way. These are your negative numbers. So they would count from 0 to negative infinity, and they would have numbers like -1, -2, -3. Now, I like to visualize it like this. I like to visualize it like positives are blue and negatives are red. I also like to crush these into little balls, and I think of a blue ball as a positive one and a red ball as a negative one. When combined, as you hopefully know, a positive and a negative will cancel out and become 0. See? 0. Now, let's start with a question. 2 plus -3. If we visualize that, we can have our 2 blue balls and add 3 red balls to them. The 2 cancel out and become nothing, and that leaves you with just 1 red ball left, meaning -1. Now, let's get to some of the harder stuff. -3 subtract -6. We can represent the -3 as 3 red balls, and subtract 3 of them from the 6 to get rid of them completely. But what do we do now? There's nothing there, so we can't subtract any negatives if there are no red balls. Well, think about it like this. In that 0 empty space, there's actually an infinite number of positives and negatives counteracting each other. So in this case, I'll represent them with purples. And of course, in those purples, there are positives and negatives, or reds and blues, that we can take out. So while they're battling in there, with those blues and reds that we separated, we are going to subtract those last 3 reds that we need to take out. Thank you, Gojo. So you can see here that we're left with 3 blues, which is +3. Lastly, let's get into some multiplication. Actually, my teacher doesn't like the X for multiplication, so we'll just use an asterisk instead. So let's start out with a simple question. You should be able to solve this. We're going to do 5 times -4. The best way to think about this is +5 groups of -4. To represent this, I'm going to have a little line for groups. On the right side, I'm going to have positive groups, and on the left side, I'm going to have negative groups, and crossing this border will change the polarity. Because it's +5 groups, it's going to go to the positive side, and because it's -4, I'm going to color all of the dots red. So that's -20, as you know. So +5 times -4 is -20. Now, this is the last thing we're going to go over, and probably the most difficult to understand, so bear with me here. But I'm going to change this +5 to a -5. What now? Well, take this rock. Let's say that this rock is 20. But wait, this rock is actually -20, so let's put it underwater. Man, I love snapping and doing that. Let's say that the water level is 0. So, we can say that this rock is negative 20 because it's underwater. When we change a group's polarity, it's like taking this rock that's underwater and pulling it out of the water. So it flips like it's going inside out. And now it's on the other side, making it positive. Now back to over here, I'm going to do that same thing with this red negative 20 and pull it right across this group line, turning it into positive 20. And that's everything. I hope you enjoyed my third attempt at an educational animation. I hope you learned something. And peace out.